Welcome to Culture Wire. I'm your host, Meg Schiffler. On this episode of Culture Wire, Director of Cultural Affairs, Luis Cancel, takes us on a field trip to the Mission District to check out ODC's new 36,000 square foot campus, which is the largest dance center in the region.
For San Franciscans, ODC has a very specific significance, and they stand for a venerable performing arts organization that is now celebrating its 40th anniversary of bringing dance and theater to the Bay Area. Standing with me today on Culture Wire is Rob Bayless, the theater director of ODC. Rob, thank you for joining us on Culture Wire.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I mentioned that this is the 40th anniversary of ODC.
It is indeed.
And I'm standing with you in a really fabulous theater that it was completed 6 months ago.
Yep.
In time for this anniversary. Tell me about how it's been going for the last 6 months.
Absolutely. Well, in terms of the anniversary, the dance company, which is our founding body, is celebrating its 40th anniversary. And it's actually the 30th anniversary of this building in this place. So it's a historic moment for both sides of our organization. And certainly the completion of the theater represents in some ways the completion of our entire campus that began in 2005 with the opening of the ODC Dance Commons and has come to its fruition with the completion of the theater. So the theater's opening was really remarkable, and one of the things that we wanted to do was to make sure that our community, really, truly, our San Francisco Bay Area community, understood that this theater was for them. We invited 31 Bay Area companies to do a day-long performance marathon to christen the space. So we really launched with the feeling of this is for everyone in this community. It was a tremendous, tremendous thing to bring everyone together around the opening of the building.
Rob, you're part of a creative troika that includes the founder, Brenda Way and KT Nelson. Yep. Talk a little bit about that dynamic.
Sure.
How is it to work together and keep this creative campus going?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's a wonderful thing to be working with someone who is certainly your coworker and also to a large degree your mentor. I inherited the theater at a very funny time in its life. It needed to make some decisions as an institution about what it wanted to be, whether it wanted to be exclusively a rental facility, if it needed to be a rehearsal space with really high ceilings, whatever it was. Having that level of leadership that my founding director is also my boss really made that possible. I really felt like I had great stewardship and that we were able to make really, really innovative decisions for how the theater could grow over that subsequent decade. Living with someone who is both your immediate boss and also a working artist is also a huge asset. I think that's one of the things that keeps the creativity flowing through ODC is that it is a campus about the creative process at all times.
The theater was part of a second phase of capital
Correct.
Fundraising
Yep.
and community support. The previous one had renovated the space where the rehearsal studios are and the school is. So what does that sort of say about the importance of ODC in the community?
I think it spoke to the two very different tracks of our organization. Part of what we do is education and outreach. Part of what we do is excellence in performance on the part of our founding company of ODC Dance. And a third part of what we do is this presenting and this incubation stream. And I think when we came to people to talk about the theater as a second investment after having built the Dance Commons, the discrete purpose of the theater really came clear. That what we were going to do with our venue was invest deeply in creativity, deeply in our regional artists, and that we were going to do something that most mid-sized San Francisco venues have struggled to do.
Rob, talk to me a little bit about the groups other than ODC that have used this space in the past few months.
One of the great pleasures in our opening season was to go back and invite two of our former resident artists to launch the space. So our launch, after it was opened by the ODC Dance Company with the Architecture of Light, was to invite Kunststoff and Levy Dance, two of the really best known San Francisco exports and really wonderful community companies here in the city to share an evening. And it was really exceptional. These are companies that I've worked with and the organizations worked with since their nascence. I mean, really, since they were either newborn or just a few years old. And to go back to that roster and invite two of our really major hometown honeys to open the theater and be able to treat them as the professionals they've become with this opportunity, with this venue, and with the resources that were available was really a full circle experience for both of us.
So Rob, now that this theater has been fully renovated, where are you going?
I really believe that San Francisco is, in some ways, to the nation what ODC is to San Francisco, which is to say that I believe the West Coast is sort of the hotbed for innovation. I think it's where major cultural changes happen first. I think it's where huge ideas are born and often raised up. It may not always be the marketplace that other major metropolitan areas are, but I do think it's the center of where creativity sits, where new ideas are born. And I think that what ODC can do by becoming this level of institution is actually raise the platform of San Francisco in the national view. I think in many ways it's sort of a stepped process, but I do believe that putting our artists in context with nationally touring artists, with other major areas, with all kinds of regular exchange with other communities around the country and around the world will become a central part of what we do.
It's clear that, you know, now that the campus has sort of been built out and sort of filled in, that ODC is really playing this fabulous supportive and incubator role, both for San Francisco, the Bay Area, and the country. Yeah. So Rob, thank you so much for being part of Culture Wire.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
And for contributing so much to the performing arts of our city.
I'm glad to.
For more information, visit odcdance.org.